Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Lunch with a Boxer. This week, we have Erica Andre here to speak to us about the Global Scholars Program. I'm Derek. I'm one of the admissions counselors here at Pacific, and I'll be hosting today. If you've never been to one of these before, please feel free to put any questions you have about the topic into the chat. We'll make sure we read them out loud because we do record these so that if you're watching this later, you'll be able to hear some of the questions that might come in or find any of the links that we talk about. But with that, I'm going to turn it over to Erica to tell us a little bit about the Global Scholars Program.
Awesome. Thanks, Derek. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm even more excited to tell you about this amazing opportunity for you as an incoming first-year student. I'm going to share my slides here. Bing. There we go. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Global Scholars and also about study abroad today. So the Global Scholars Program is, there are two pieces to it. It's an amazing opportunity to study abroad as a first-year student. We have a special application where you apply to be a global scholar, and in the fall, you'll learn about a particular international topic in your first-year seminar class, and then you will travel with your class in January to the location that you studied about. So global scholars come from all different backgrounds, and the mission of the Global Scholars Program is to provide equitable access to the benefits of global learning to all students. We really want every student to be able to study abroad and have that really transformational experience. So as I mentioned, the first part of the Global Scholars Program is this opportunity to study abroad as a first-year student. Now, every student at Pacific will take, every incoming first-year student will take an FYS, a first-year seminar. And those have all sorts of different topics. You might be learning about monsters and mayhem or extraterrestrials, or I mean, the topics are as varied as the faculty who teach them. In our case this year, we are going to be focusing on Renaissance Florence. We have a couple of great faculty members in history and government who will be leading that course. So you take that fall FYS and then you travel together in January with your faculty and your fellow students. As I mentioned, it will be in Florence this year. The most remarkable part of the program, though, for first-year students is that it doesn't cost you anything. This is a free program for the students who are accepted. Now, I shouldn't say entirely free. You will be responsible for the cost of probably about one meal a day and any of your personal incidentals, any mementos or things that you want to buy for yourself while you are in Italy. The second part of the Global Scholars Program is an academic pathway. Now, this is a 4-year pathway that allows you to add international and diverse perspectives to whatever you're studying. If you're studying kinesiology or international studies or biology or sociology, you can add this global international perspective to your major. The pathway starts with the FYS and travel course that I mentioned. The first required course is a 2-credit Global Scholars Seminar where you will look at your own cultural values and beliefs, figure out what's important to you, and map out how global learning is going to intersect with your degree at Pacific. You'll take 3 classes that have IDP, that's an International and Diverse Perspectives designation, and you'll take those across your core requirements. What that means is that you're double dipping. So you can do the Global Scholars pathway without adding extra credits to your degree, because you're checking off the requirements of your degree at the same time that you are looking at those degree requirements from an international and diverse perspective. The third piece is a global international experience. This is usually your junior year. A lot of students will choose to study abroad for a semester. It's also possible to take short-term travel courses. Those are very popular at Pacific. We offer a lot of courses where you learn about the topic the semester before, and then during January or the summer, you travel for 2 or 3 weeks with your faculty. So that's global international experience. And then the last piece of the academic pathway for global scholars is the capstone, where you integrate all of this international and diverse perspective that you've learned about across the disciplines into your major capstone. If you want to know more about the Global Scholars Program, visit pacificu.edu/GSP. And that will lay out all of the requirements of the pathway. And it will also take you to a link for the Global Scholars FYS and travel opportunity to Italy. A little bit now about study abroad at Pacific generally. Now, there are a number of ways that you can study abroad or gain global experiential learning. The first is a really traditional short-term study abroad. So students at Pacific can choose from, a dozen or more existing study abroad programs across the world. And it's really simple. You stay at Pacific, you pay your tuition at Pacific, but then you study abroad, and there's no additional fee for those exchange programs. Well, sometimes there's a small fee for those. But you can study abroad for a semester or a year, and all of those credits that you take while you're abroad, they count toward your degree at Pacific. So that's the traditional study abroad. Oh, what was that one? Oh, I was talking about the wrong thing. Short-term study abroad. So these are those travel courses that I was just mentioning. So we offer travel courses to locations around the world. And the way these work is that you will take a 2-credit prep course where you learn about the topic. For example, we have, I just taught this last spring a course to Tahiti. It was called Exploring France and Beyond French Polynesia. So students learned all about the culture of French Polynesia, the history, the government during the semester. And then in January, we all traveled together to French Polynesia. And that's really typical of our travel courses. So in the fall, you will take a prep course that prepares you for travel in January, or in the spring, you'll take a prep course that prepares you for travel at the end of May, early June, sort of at the end of the semester. And those are all led by Pacific faculty, and they will count for your major. They count oftentimes for your general degree requirements as well. Now, there are additional fees for short-term study abroad courses, the one exception being our Global Scholars FYS travel course. So traditional study abroad are those semester and year-long programs. And then there are also US-based experiences. So for example, we offer a short-term travel course to the Navajo Nation or to Hawaii, where you can learn about different aspects of US culture. So for students who can't leave the United States for whatever reason, there are opportunities to learn about different cultures, even here in the United States. And then the last opportunity are internships. So we have a great academic and career advising center, which can help connect you with internships, either with diverse communities here in the US and locally in the Forest Grove, Portland area, or also internationally. So those are sort of the 4 ways that you can experience study abroad and different cultures, whether you are in the US or beyond the US borders. Do you have any questions?
Quite a few were sent in ahead of time or popped up in the chat. So just a couple of them. Are there any exclusions either for global scholars or for study abroad? Like I know at some schools, maybe if you're an athlete or you're studying a specific major like pre-med, you aren't able to do that. Are there any exclusions to our programs?
No. So here's the thing. If you are in a major like engineering or kinesiology, have a lot of credits and a lot of highly sequenced curriculum, um, it is challenging to study abroad, but it's not impossible. So if you come to the university knowing that you want to study abroad, your advisor and the academic advising center can work with you to figure out when it makes sense. Again, we have lots of options. So if you're not able to study abroad for a full semester or a year, you can take travel courses. And oftentimes you can take those short-term travel courses that are also relevant to your major or taught by faculty in your major. So there are lots of options. The same goes for student athletes. So our athletics department also really values international education and works with the faculty who are providing these short-term travel courses and with you to find options so that you can have a transformational international educational experience.
Global Scholars Program?
Oh, great question. So the Global Scholars Program has limited seats. We only have 20 spots for this first year seminar and travel course to Italy. We are currently accepting applications. So if you go to pacificu.edu/GSP, there's a button there where it says reserve my spot. If you click that button, it will take you to a short application. It's going to ask you about your prior experience with international and diverse topics. So if you speak another language, if you've ever traveled anywhere, if you come from a diverse background. So we want to know a little bit more about you. And then the second question is why you are interested in the Global Scholars Program. Now, it is a competitive application, and what we are looking for overall is diversity among our students. This first year experience, this first year seminar is such an important part of your start at college. We want to make sure that class, that cohort in that class really represents a lot of different perspectives and different experiences. So we strongly encourage students who come from diverse backgrounds or who speak another language to apply. It is open to everyone. So really do apply. We will start looking at those applications starting in June, and we will be making admissions decisions into the Global Scholars FYS on a rolling basis. We will hold a few spots open for late applications, but for your best chance at getting one of those spots, do apply now. The whole process will take you probably 10 to 15 minutes.
Awesome. And if a student isn't able to get into the FYS class, can they join in the Global Scholars Program later in the process, or is this like a once you're in is the only process way through?
Derek, that's a great question. So the first year seminar and travel class is an extra. So it's a great way to start the Global Scholars Program, and it's an amazing opportunity to travel abroad as a first year student, but it's not the only way to be a global scholar. So the first required course in the pathway is that Global Scholars Seminar. That class is also a great way to see if Global Scholars is for you. It's just 2 credits. You take it, it gives you a broad overview of global learning across the curriculum. And then that's a great place to start. If you're a transfer student, if you don't get into the Global Scholars FYS, you can absolutely start with that Global Scholars Seminar. Your advisor in the summer, during summer registration, or in the Academic and Career Advising Center can help you find that course. It's called HUME 201 Global Scholars Seminar.
Will their degree look different than if they hadn't gone through the program?
Yeah, it will look a little bit different. So when you graduate from a university, well, just like high school, you'll have a transcript. And on your college transcript, it's going to show all of the courses that you've taken. It will also indicate what your major is, what your minor is. If you complete all of the requirements of the Global Scholars Pathway, it will also show Global Scholars on your transcript. So absolutely, that's something that will show up on your transcript. Also, we have not, Global Scholars is a pretty new program. Because of COVID, it was delayed in its rollout. And so this year was the first year we actually sent a cohort abroad. This coming year is the first year that we will graduate our first Global Scholars students. And we anticipate that at the graduation ceremony, when you receive your diploma, you will also have a special cord that designates you as a Global Scholar, and you'll be acknowledged as such during the graduation ceremonies.
A couple other questions. These are a little bit more general about study abroad, but they're very important questions. Do you actually have to know the language of the place you want to study abroad before you go, or is it something you can learn while you're there?
Great question. And the answer is both. So we offer study abroad to a lot of locations where English is the first language, to Australia, to England, for example. And of course, if English is your first language, no problem. We also offer a lot of study abroad opportunities in non-English speaking countries. For most of those programs, you are going to need to have 3 semesters of language. So we're on a semester system. So if you've had no language at all, you would need to take 101 in the fall, 102 in the spring, 201 and maybe 202 the next year. And taking those 200 level courses would qualify you to study abroad in a non-English speaking location. So it varies by program. While you are abroad, you will then pick up your language study at the appropriate level. We also have an English language program to Japan, where you can take your courses in English and learn Japanese while you're there. For most of our travel courses, and that's for sort of your traditional semester or year-long study abroad, for most of our travel courses, speaking a second language is not required. But of course, it's really encouraged because it's a great way to have a deeper experience while you are in the country for just such a short time.
Which leads to the inevitable next question. What if I already speak a language? Can I test into a higher level and speed up that process?
Oh, yes. So at Pacific, every student is required to complete 2 semesters, or what I should really say is complete 102. That's that second semester of the first year, or demonstrate equivalent proficiency. So you can take 102, you've checked your language requirement. You could take 201 or 202 or any higher level. Any one of those courses also completes your language requirement. If you already speak a language beyond that 102, that first year level, you can also take a test to demonstrate equivalent proficiency. And so the academic, your academic advisor and the Academic and Career Advising Center can also help you with that. There's a little paperwork involved. And so you fill out a paperwork, you complete the STAMP test. It's a 4-skill language proficiency test that usually takes a couple hours. And if you demonstrate a high enough level of proficiency, your language requirement is taken care of. No classes required.
One more just popped up here. Is study abroad required for any majors at Pacific?
Yeah, study abroad is required for a few majors. If you are a world language major, so if you're majoring in, let me see, we do 6 languages at Pacific. If you're majoring in Spanish or German or Japanese or French, all of those majors require a semester or an extended period abroad. Our Chinese minor does not require study abroad. We also teach American Sign Language, and that does not require study abroad. Our international studies major also requires 200 level language and a study abroad experience.
You mentioned that the Global Scholars has happened now for a year or two. And so they wanted to know, where are the previous trip or trips that you guys have gone?
Oh my gosh. So this question must be a plant, because we traveled to the most amazing place this past fall and January. We went to French Polynesia. So I mentioned that I was teaching that course to French Polynesia. I was also the professor in that FYS course, that Global Scholars first year seminar, where we learned all about Polynesian culture. It was fantastic because we had a lot of students who were native Hawaiian or from Hawaii, and they all, Hawaii is also a Polynesian culture. And so those students were able to bring a lot of their own experience and were able to sort of compare and contrast Polynesian culture in Hawaii compared to Polynesian culture in French Polynesia. We snorkeled, we survived tsunamis in thatched huts and stayed dry. It was a really remarkable experience. We were a large group. It was a little unusual because we traveled together with some upper division students. So we were about 40 people altogether. So French Polynesia was where we went last year. The year before, when COVID so abruptly shut us down, we were planning to go to Florence, Italy. So Renaissance Florence was our first location that was canceled by COVID. We're very fortunate to be able to offer Renaissance Florence again for this coming year. The two professors are beloved on campus. They are experts. They travel to Italy regularly. One of them wrote his dissertation on US study abroad and backpacking culture. So you just couldn't be in better hands. Plus, Renaissance Florence is really important to contemporary US and European society today. So you'll learn a lot about those connections. And it's a really multidisciplinary course. So you're going to be learning about science, you'll be learning about architecture, about the arts, about politics and government. You're really looking at Renaissance Florence from a broad variety of perspectives in a really interdisciplinary way.
Awesome. Well, that looks like all the questions that came in. So Erica, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. And we will be back next week with another Lunch with a Boxer. But Erica, thanks again so much for joining us, and hope you all have a good rest of the day.
Great. Thank you so much.